here together as one big family, as one extended community. Shabbat Shalom and welcome to everybody. This evening is our Social Action Shabbat, and we are so delighted that we are joining together as two common communities, Temple Tikvah and North Country Reform Temple. And so welcome all of you who are here in the sanctuary, and welcome those of you who are joining us virtually as well. In case you want to know who's who, if you don't know, I'm Rabbi Randy Scheinberg, the rabbi here at Temple Tikvah.
I'm Cantor Friedlander, the cantor here at Temple Tikvah.
I'm Cantor Amelia Laverchuk Fox, cantor at North Country Reform Temple.
And Yuri, Yuri's a accompanist. And we welcome you all, and of course our special guest representative Gina Sillitti, who we'll hear more from in a little bit. So we welcome Shabbat traditionally by kindling light. And we do that as a way to remind us that we too can be lights in the world. And so I am delighted to invite up to kindle those lights some people who are really core to the social action work of Temple Tikvah and North Country Reform Temple. So Paula and Lynn Bieber and Judy Kirshner, please join me on the And if you want to follow along with the blessing, we're on page 120 in your prayer.
Asher Hishana Mitzvotav, Tzivanu Lahadli Ner Shel Shabbat. Celebrate the sweetness of Shabbat with the sweet fruit of the vine. Two cups, but you got how to share. All right. And we're on page 123. Let's read together just the first line of the Hebrew, and then we can sing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Shabbat
not so long. We're going to continue now on page 138. We welcome Shabbat as our ancestors in the ancient Israeli city of Tzfat did by singing these words, L'chadodi. We greet Shabbat as an honored presence, beloved bride. And so we sing together. These verses will be, I'll indicate which verses we're reading, but when we get to the last verse, I invite you to rise and we'll face the door and imagine Shabbat coming in, entering the door, and we greet her and welcome her. L'chadodi, page 138. We say that Shabbat has arrived among us. Let it bring our smile to your face. And take a moment now and turn to someone and share that smile. Wish them a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
We remain standing as we turn to page 146. We are now called together as one whole community to worship with the words of the Baruch. This weekend, the seasons change. We move from summer to fall, to autumn. We already see signs of it everywhere. The cooler nights, the shorter days, the leaves falling on the ground. Page 148 reminds us to give thanks for all of the changes in seasons. We thank God who rolls light away from darkness and darkness from light. And we pray, dear God, may you always reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, eternal one, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'arif Ha'arami. 150. Page 154, the words of the V'ahavta, talking about the eternal love between God and humanity. Feel free to follow along in the English if you wish as we chant.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol midotecha v'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzacha hayom ha'levavecha v'shinantam l'ma'necha v'dibartam v'shitacha b'beitecha u'lechtecha b'derech u'shoftecha
kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti atchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, li'ot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Turn to page 157 as we prepare to sing our song for freedom. Continue to pray for freedom everywhere. Please join me on the top of that page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, a promised land. And that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. That there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands and marching together. The seventh day of rest is a time to renew ourselves, to slow down a bit, to appreciate all the blessings in our lives. We celebrate it by singing the song. We're reminded that prayer is important, but only when accompanied by action. Pray as if everything depended on God, but act as if everything depended on you. We begin on page 164. Our prayer is known as Tikvah, where we invite ourselves to be in conversation with our higher power,
with our greatest ideals, and we pray that that may spur us to action as well. I invite you to rise. Top of page 173 as we prepare for our own silent prayer. We pray that these hours of rest and renewal can open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai. Mekadesh HaShabbat. I'd like you to take the next few moments in silence. You can use some of the words of the prayer book if you wish through page 178 as a guide, or you could just put the prayer book aside for a few moments and talk to your own heart. Let's take a few moments in silent prayer. have a chance to think about those people who are suffering, to turn our hearts towards them and to offer up a prayer of healing. If there's somebody or bodies whose name you'd like to share with us, for whom you'd like us to pray this evening, I'll invite you to do that now. I'll just glance around the room. Sandra. Daniela. Thank you. Terry. Thank you. Susan. Linda Redden. Thank you. Yes, Stan.
Eleanor Roth.
Others on this side. And on this side of the sanctuary.
Anita Rosenbaum, Bruce Blank.
Ayala and Matt, Susanna Schultz, Luana.
Thank you. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Steve.
Karen Bose.
Tonight. In addition to those names, I'm going to share with you the names of those before me. Pray health and healing of all those whose names we mentioned, as well as Jamie, Whitman, Avish, Eileen Anduct, Ellen Bassick, Benjamin Menachem Frank, Carolyn Barone, Jane Boots, Harold Block, Dennis Brenner, Jack Cases, Nora Correa, Jolie Domash, Susan Seitzik, Janet Ewing, Arthur Fisher, Judy Fisher, Michelle Fisk, Evan Foster, Sandra Goldberg, Florence Goldring, Stephen Goldstein, Jean Gormley, Lisa Gracely, Holly, Marilyn Hepworth, David Hirsch, Matthew A. Hood, Decia Horowitz, Phyllis Horn, Stephen Israel, Toby Israel, Christine Jacobson, Danette Jamal, Roberta Kahn, Louis Kaufman, Tatiana Kotunyuk, Michael Constant, Esther Krachevsky, Dylan Mabisi, Lawrence Landy, Sandy Lay, Gail Levy, Paul Wilson, Aidan Moletsky, Robert Mandel, Robert Mannix, Robert Massey, Susie Miller, Ashley Moranti, Adam Moranti, Miriam Shulamit, Batela, Patrice Noonan, Nora Zipporah, Batilana, Andrew O'Donnell, Carla Usuna, Sophia Palladino, Esther Parker, Melinda Pescatori, Hilton Pfeffer, Ben Pilch, Rabbi Lester Polonsky, Dean Powell, Carol Ryder, Julie Rosenberg, Laura Rosenzman, Renee Rosenthal, Jeannie Rudick, Sylvia Rubel, Adele Shona, Anna Rachel Bat Miriam, Charlotte Schnupp, Claire Shapiro, Jeffrey Schoenholtz, Marjorie Schoenholtz, Edmund Steiner, Faye Strobel, Rhoda Strobel, Tova Bat Shifra, Arlene Iris Wissen, Jeff Young, and Shirley Young. May the Holy One of Blessing bring each and every one of them to healing. Our prayer in song is on page 371. Thank you to join us. So our faith, the Jewish faith, commands us, yes, to be here and to pray and to act kindly towards one another and also to engage in our civic discourse. Tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, says our Torah. Justice, justice must you pursue. We are blessed at both North Country Reform Temple and Temple Tikvah with wonderful leaders who help us through and to pursue justice, to help out, to look at the issues that are facing our world, and to do our part to tikkun olam, to make the world just a little bit better. And so it's thanks to all of you that we have a Social Action Shabbat. And so to introduce tonight's guest speaker, I'm delighted to call up Ren Weaver.
Shabbat Shalom. It's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker tonight, New York State Assemblywoman Gina Sillitti. Born and raised on Long Island, Gina has a proven record of public service and uses her government experience to deliver results for the people of the 16th Assembly District. Gina's nearly two-decade career in public service included working at the Nassau County Legislature, where she learned the value of constituent services. She worked to secure millions for local fire departments, helped thousands of constituents with issues from repairing potholes to navigating their personal tragedies, worked to get much-needed infrastructure progress delivered for our district, and help bring hundreds of thousands of dollars into the community development grants to improve local schools. And Gina was here for us for Temple Tikvah during the horrible aftermath of Hurricane Ida. She gave us support and guidance through the difficult task of restoring our temple. Throughout her career, Assemblywoman Sillitti has demonstrated a commitment to community engagement and cultural diversity. As Deputy Commissioner of Community Service for the town of North Hempstead, she worked with various groups and helped form the first Asian American Festival Committee. This experience reflects her dedication to promoting inclusivity and understanding among diverse communities, including our Jewish community. Additionally, she has supported legislation aimed at combating hate and discrimination, issues that deeply resonate with us. Please join me in welcoming Assemblywoman Gina Sillitti, a dedicated public servant and a true friend of our congregation.
Oh my gosh, that was a lovely introduction. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Rabbi Randy, for always being so welcoming to me at Temple Tikvah. So welcome, everyone, people who are viewing at home. When I heard, or I was asked to speak at the Social Action Shabbat, I was like, sign me up. This sounds wonderful. I wish there was more that did this. And I was asked to speak on the ERA. So I figured maybe we'll take a step back and talk about the history and how we came to be with this proposition. And then I'll try to answer some, or speak of some of the myths about what's going on, and then how you guys can talk about the facts when you're speaking to friends and family and in your own communities and your own networks. So taking a step back, this ballot measure is a change to the New York State Constitution. Changing the New York State Constitution is no easy feat. You have to go through 2 legislative cycles with an election in between. So the thought is that there can't be a change in government either to the right or to the left where you can make drastic changes. So for example, if there's a red wave or a blue wave, in one election cycle, you can't make any drastic changes to the Constitution. If you want to change the New York State Constitution, you have to go through 2 legislative sessions and an election in between. So what does that mean? That means that I had to vote twice to put this measure on the ballot. I had to vote for it in one session, then I had an election in 2022, and then we voted for it again in 2023, and now it's on the ballot this year in 2024. This process could take years to do, and they purposefully make it difficult, and for the reasons I explained. And so what I'm trying to do, and I'm so glad that I was invited to speak on this, is to make sure that you guys have the facts. And I'll try not to be biased. I do have a way that I'm voting, but just so you know what's out there, what it actually does, and so you can speak intelligently to friends. So I also want to mention one other thing about misinformation. It's starting to spread a little bit about this, and we saw this a couple of years ago. I don't know if you guys remember a ballot proposition to change how we do absentee ballots. And I'm sure you guys have all done absentee ballots. You've gone on vacation, you've been out of town for work, whatever the case may be. And you fill out a form, right? And at the top of the form, it says, I'm going to be out of the state, I'm going to be out of the county, I'm in the hospital, I'm permanently disabled. There was a reason, you had to check it off. So the ballot measure that the constitutional change was called no excuse absentee voting. And all it was taking that top part off the application, and then the rest of it you would fill out like normal. Well, you would have thought that we were committing and perpetrating fraud to the voters, and millions of dollars were spent to defeat it, and it didn't pass. It was as simple as removing the top section off of the application. Nothing else would have changed. One thing that wasn't mentioned in my bio, I used to work at the Nassau County Board of Elections, and I see the scrutiny that goes when you're filling out an application. A Republican and a Democrat both look at it, they switch, they look at it again to make sure there's no shenanigans. But here we are. I don't want to let that happen again. I want to make sure that folks have the right information about what's being proposed. So let's go with the actual words. The actual words that you're going to see when you flip over your ballot is this. This proposal would protect against unequal treatment based on ethnicity, national origin, age, disability, and sex, including sexual orientation, gender identity, and pregnancy. It also protects against unequal treatment based on reproductive health care and autonomy. A yes vote puts these protections in the New York State Constitution. A no vote leaves these protections out of the state constitution. So, right now in the New York State Constitution, when we're referring to discrimination, you can only, the only protections are against race, religion, and creed. So the goal with this proposition is to add those things that I mentioned: gender, age, ethnicity, pregnancy outcomes, gender identity. That these things that I just mentioned you will not be able to be discriminated against. So pregnancy and pregnancy outcomes, what does that mean? I've been very vocal in my infertility journey. I have a baby at home. He's 6 months old. He was conceived using IVF. I am 46 years old. It took a very long time to get here. And during that journey, I had some very terrible outcomes and heartaches along the way. And all I kept thinking was, thank God I live in New York, that I was able to get the health care that I needed. So the goal is to put these protections, IVF, contraception, pregnancy outcomes, in the Constitution. So just in case something changes with the governor or the legislature, that these things will always be protected. Because as I mentioned before, it's very difficult to change the New York State Constitution. So no matter what happens above us, we have these protections. And that's the simplified goal of this proposition. Also, we're not creating any new laws with this proposition. That was another thing that I've heard, talking to constituents out in the community. No new laws are being created. They're simply taking existing New York State law and enshrining it into the Constitution. For example, I mentioned pregnancy and pregnancy outcomes. In 2019, the Reproductive Health Act codified Roe v. Wade into New York law. And at the time, there was, conversations about why was this necessary. Roe would never be overturned. And so that was the argument on, one side. And so, but they pushed, I was not in office at the time. It was pushed forward, and it became the law in New York. Obviously, it's a good thing that it was. So taking the the Reproductive Health Act, enshrining it into the Constitution. Then we also have other laws that prevent discrimination from gender identity, who you would want to marry, and those laws are already in the books, already in existence. And again, simply just moving that over into the New York State Constitution. So I'm going to say it again, and I've said it, and you're going to hear me say it multiple times. No new laws are being created. You're simply taking existing New York law and enshrining it into the Constitution. So some of the specifics, again, what the impacts would have if Prop 1 became part of the Constitution will make sure the government can't discriminate against older New Yorkers, pregnant New Yorkers, LGBT New Yorkers when it comes to hiring, promotions, and pay. It ensures older New Yorkers and those with disabilities have the access that they need to vote. It helps domestic abuse victims hold their abusers accountable in court. It would provide access to reproductive health care, including birth control, IVF, and just, again, making sure that politicians can't restrict reproductive health care options in the future. And again, why is this important? It's just because you never know what's going to happen. You never know, the winds have changed. Sometimes people want to vote this way, sometimes they want to vote that way. So these protections cannot be changed or rolled back. One thing also that I heard was, will this take away parental choice and parental rights and parental consent when it comes to surgery? The answer is no. That is already protected. There can't be any kind of surgery or anything like that without parental consent. Proposition 1 does not change that. Another thing that I heard that was interesting, that it would allow non-citizens to vote because we're not discriminating against anyone. That's not true. There's no change. By the way, that's the United States Constitution, and we're not changing that. And then again, going back to reproductive health care one more time, just because it's personal to me, again, it will just enshrine it into the Constitution in New York, again, just in case no matter what happens around us, these rights will be protected. And I'm just looking to see if I missed anything, because I do want to take your questions, if there are any. And by the way, if I can't answer your question, I'm going to do my best as I can. I'm not a lawyer, I just pretend to be one. I'm not a lawyer, but I have my cards on me, I have my staff with me. We can take your information and follow up with you on specific questions, and then also send it to the Social Action Committee so everybody can have their question answered as well. So I think, I'm looking at Janet, I think I covered most of everything. I had some notes for myself. Does anyone have any questions for me? Yes, sir.
So what is happening with the opposition right now? Because it didn't pass the last time, right?
Yeah, so there was an article, I believe it was Politico a couple of weeks ago, saying that it's very one-sided in the advocacy against it. So far, I believe 30 or so states have had some kind of reproductive health care ballot measure, and it's all passed. And that the fear is that it won't pass in New York because of the misinformation. So there's a coalition of organizations that are raising money. You're gonna have to forgive me, my brain, I will remember what the name of the organization, I think New Yorkers for Equal Rights is the organization, you can Google them. It's a coalition of different groups, and they are trying to get the message out about this ballot measure, to flip over your ballot and then the facts about it, and try to, tamp down the misinformation. And then there's also elected officials that are going around. Assemblyman Chuck Levine, who represents the district just to the east of me, has been doing a series of seminars in his district, and I joined him on his Roslyn one to inform his constituents, anybody who's interested, to learn more about it. And he's had some guest speakers, which I thought was really great. So there are definitely grassroots efforts out there. On the political end, there's the campaigns, they're mentioning it at the doors, and then on the advocacy end, these coalitions are raising money to do more. There was a rumor just recently that the governor has put in $1 million of her war chest in this effort to get out the accurate information on this measure. But it's an uphill climb. There's a lot of fear out there about it. Yes, sir.
Does this, the article of the amendment that bans age discrimination, does this mean that there will be no longer a minimum age to vote? And does this mean that there will no longer be mandatory retirement ages for certain government jobs?
Not to my knowledge, as I mentioned before about the voting, that's also enshrined in the Constitution. You have to be 18 years old. That does not change that. As far as retirement age, I don't believe so. Interesting question. There are specific laws regarding changes in retirement. Anybody who's in the New York State retirement knows about, Tier 6 and the changes that they've tried to make to improve the retirement system. That's a whole nother conversation. But to change anything in the retirement system is a very uphill battle, requiring legislation and budget changes and the controller's involvement. So I think the answer would be no. Extreme consciousness there. Yes, sir.
There's a lot of controversy about transgender people.
Yeah.
About transgender people, men who become women,
Yep.
and now participate in women's sports.
Yep.
So the question is, if you can't discriminate based upon someone being a transgender person, is that going to be a roadway for them to participate in women's sports and could not be stopped?
So I'm looking at my notes here, and from what I've asked that same question, and the answer I was told. Oh, sure. So it has to do with basically, does this amendment allow transgender athletes, boys to play in girls' sports teams, use their locker rooms, etc.? No. The amendment does not change any existing law or control who uses which locker room. It simply stops LGBTQ New Yorkers from experiencing discrimination. There was a question over here.
I had
Oh.
a similar question.
Similar.
I was asking what would be your response, because that seems to be
The biggest
one.
Yeah.
When people are, I don't know why it's such a boogeyman that people are so afraid of this.
Yeah, no, I mean, so, and that was a question I specifically asked to our lawyers, and I was told no. Another one was that I heard just 2 nights ago, was, will this amendment allow minors to consent to gender-affirming care? And again, take away parental consent, and that's a hard no. There is parental consent is required for minors to have any kind of medical procedure in New York, and this proposition does not change that. Yes, sir.
I'm just curious what the main objections are on the other side.
Sure. My own personal opinion has a little bit of a political skew, is that there is abortion access, reproductive health care is a losing argument to be against. Too many women and men on both sides of the aisle believe in a woman's right to choose, especially here in New York. So this proposition is enshrining that into the Constitution. but they can't go out and say, vote no because of that, right? So pulling out other parts of it, having to do with gay New Yorkers, is, I think, the playbook here to try to scare people and with things that folks don't really understand. And that seems to be the way around it, rather than saying vote no on this because of reproductive health care, vote no on this because we're making sure that everyone can be discriminated against, no matter who you are in the state of New York. Man, woman, black, white, religion, who you love, all those things. So that's my personal opinion. And I'm trying my best not to be skewed to one side, but that's what I've read, that's what I think, that's the case, just because the numbers are sky high with support of reproductive rights in New York, and so I think that's the way around it. Yes, sir?
How does the New York proposition differ from what passed in a state like Kansas? They voted to enshrine the right of abortion into the Kansas state constitution.
Right.
Was it also a non-discriminatory?
Did they add all these other things? It's so funny. We're, I don't know why we tried to be cute, to be honest with you. We added a whole lot of things, but I also think it's important just because we don't know which way the wind's blowing in New York. And we saw, I think, the thought is that there was almost a governor of a different party this past year. And while he can't change the laws right away, he or she can certainly tie money up in agencies or force agencies not to be helpful to folks for various reasons. So the thought is that let's make sure we protect everyone, no matter who they are, how they pray, and what they choose to do with their bodies. And so that was the thought of that, just to be inclusive of all and make sure everyone's protected. And I think that was the plan. I was not personally involved in the writing of it, but that is my understanding, was to protect it. But why is it not just that? That's the reason. I believe it.
The New York version is getting much more blowback.
It is?
Because of those added protections.
Right. So. And just very quickly before I end, I know there's a lot of different folks here from different areas. I represent Northwest Nassau County, so I represent Great Neck, Port Washington, the two peninsulas, and I come down, I have all of Manhasset, so I have all of Great Neck, all of Port Washington, all of Manhasset, and then I have the majority of the Herrick School District, North New Hyde Park, so basically north of Jericho. I'm probably here. There's little cuts out here and there when you go below Hillside. And then of course, Temple Tikvah. And if you guys have any questions up here in the back, I have my cards. But feel free to reach out on this or any other subject. I'd be happy to help in any way I can. That's it. All right.
Very nice.
Good.
Thank you so much for this presentation and for all of your service, to us at Temple Tikvah, but to all the causes of justice that I think are important to us. We really appreciate your voice and your power, so I thank you. I did want to let people know, since I don't know about anybody else's phone, but mine has been very active this election season. Who else gets like 10 texts every day? So I learned that Assemblywoman Sillitti is going to be with Kim Kaiserman, is that correct?
Yes.
At the Humble Cafe for meet and greet next Saturday. Do I have that correct? So the Humble Cafe, for those of you who don't know, is a new establishment on Hillside Avenue. If you're interested in more conversation, that's a place to go, or just spread the word about that. And I also know that Judy, you want to share your goodies as well? Judy Kirschar.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Assemblywoman Sillitti. That was a great presentation. What I want to show you is, we have this kind of list of items that you can take home today, and you can write on them. And it's really very simple because the card looks like this. One of the problems with this proposition is that it's on, proposal 1 is on the back of the ballot, so people may not even be aware. I don't always flip over the ballot. And even if you do flip it over, it's difficult to start reading and considering something while you're standing there. So what we want is for as many people as possible to be aware of it and to be thinking about it ahead of time. So if you take home a packet, we had a postcarding party over in North Country Reform Temple on Sunday, and over 300 postcards were written then. People took home packets. On the back of this, you write exactly 3 sentences. And the last one says flip over your ballot. So, which I chose to, highlight in yellow. You can decorate the card as you wish. It's really only 3 sentences. There are only 11 cards in the packet, and that's because they were printed with only 11 addresses on each page. So we made packs of 11. All right, so you write the 3 sentences, you write the address. You will have to provide a stamp. They're now up to 56 cents, so you need 11 stamps. And that's it. We mail them. And I'm hoping later when we're together, if you'd like a packet, I have 15 of them. And feel free to take one home. Doesn't take very long at all to write these various places. So that's it. Thank you very much.
So there, for those who are inclined, and of course, everybody is free to choose what feels right to them, but there's a little bit of a follow-up social action you can take for this evening, so we appreciate that. And we always like to underline what we've learned with a bit of song.
So as a cantor, one of my absolute favorite combinations of things are Jewish music and social justice. And as part of my graduate work, I wrote my graduate thesis on the history of folk song in the turn of the century Jewish-led labor movements in the U.S. and in Eastern Europe. So I wanted to share a song with you that comes from that legacy and exemplifies how women have always, Jewish women have always been on the front lines of change, and women disproportionately participated in organizing and revolutionary Russia activities that were led by Jews. So this song is called Arbeit Frauen, which means working women in Yiddish. It was based on a poem that was published by David Edelstadt in 1891. And it was sung as part of the labor and revolutionary movements both in Russia and Russian Empire and in the United States of America, one of the more popular songs to come out of this movement. And I have a version here with a wonderful singable English translation by Daniel Kahn, who I just wanted to credit, it's not mine, so that those of you for whom Yiddish might not be your first language can get a sense of what the song is about.
Helft uns Wahrheit und Wind zu verstehen.
fighting for its only beginning, and no one should stand in the struggle alone. Let us all carry the red flag together, weathering storms in the dark of the night, building a temple of freedom forever, loving each other to carry the light. How many daughters, sisters, and mothers have given their lives for the things they believe? Mighty as lions, they fight for each other, for freedom and justice and equality. We'll carry the banner as sisters and brothers, taking the world to the light of the day, as friends and companions, as comrades and lovers, armed to fight and show us the way.
Thank you for that wonderful inspiration. Friends, as our service draws toward its close, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those beloved by our friends and neighbors, the martyrs of the Jewish people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race, every nationality, every creed, every culture, whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we give thanks for their lives and the legacy that they leave us. And the Temple Tikvah community in this period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, we remember Robert Bader, remembered by his children, Randy Wise and Howard Bader, and his family and his Temple Tikvah family. And we remember Stephen Berman, remembered by Maureen and Matthew and Brian Berman. And this week as well, we remember those who have died of this season in years gone by. With love, we now recall Herman Berman, the brother of Paul Berman, Egon Biss, father of Vivian Goldbaum, Dora Dressner, the mother of Helene Schoenheld and grandmother of Aileen Schoenheld, Louis Green, grandfather of Susan Schneider, Hortense Hurlchek, mother of Florence Barabarian, Russell Jacobs, cousin of Justin Wax Jacobs, Alvin J. Orville, father of Barbara Orville, Murray Ryder, father of Carol Ryder, Arthur Rosen, father of Susan Schneider, David Rubin, father of Judy Friedman, Harry Sloan, father of Richard Sloan, Ida Sumpkin, grandmother of Mona Lupo, and Sal Zaffos, father of Jack Zaffos. Is there anybody who would like to share with us the name of someone else who you are recalling this evening?
Steve Rhodes Savage.
Thank you. Thank you. Others? Alexandra. Thank you. Thank you. Others? I do not have the names from North Country before me. I don't know if there are. Usually there's some. You do?
Yes.
Look at that. Magic of technology in the right hands.
All right. So I have the archetypes for North Country Reformed Temple. Apologies for the delay while I found them again. So this week, North Country Reformed Temple is remembering Libby Riefel, grandmother-in-law of Janine Riefel, Gertrude Dunn, Richard Edelstein, grandmother of Phyllis Edelstein, Norton Fletcher, Richard Foreman, brother of Lisa Koenig, Trudy Herzog, mother of David Herzog, Edith Hochberg, Abraham Kip Homer, Stanley Eisendorf, Rose Katz, Sidney Lerner, father of Jill Kloiker, Rhoda Ann Maloney, Hannah B. Match, Hilda Metalka, mother of Judy Glass, Ira Ostroff, Betty Radin, aunt of Marcia Kotkin, Lawrence Sher, Jean Shane, great aunt of Rabbi Shergal, June Treven.
Of them all we say, Zichronam Livracha, may the memories of our beloved and of the righteous everywhere continue to bless us. Let's turn together to page 598 as we rise as one community to remember them as well as those who have none to remember them. We surrender these sacred words. Yitadal v'yitadash shemei rabbav, v'yamad yivrach yirutei yamich malchutei, v'chayechom v'yomechom, v'chayei lechol Eretz Yisrael, v'akalah v'zman kariv v'yiru amen. Yehei shemei rabbav v'barach ve'olam l'amei amayah. Yitarach v'yishalach v'yitparar v'yitlamam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei t'kudusha b'richud le'elam yinkol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata ta'viran v'yalma v'yibru amen. Yehei shlama rabba mishamaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yibru amen. Oseh shalom b'roma u'yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yom yoshmei tevel v'yibru amen. Oseh shalom u'yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael. So we have a few announcements before our rousing and closing song. So we'll begin by calling up Lisa. Lisa Lugo, President of Temple Tikvah.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you, Rabbi, Cantor Glenn, Cantor Amelia, Yuri. Thank you for an amazing service. I thought the singing was particularly outstanding tonight, and I really enjoyed the women's working song, particularly the Yiddish. I was thinking of my grandmother talking to me as she was saying, and wishing the language had been passed down, even though it hasn't. It sounded amazing, so thank you. Thank you to Social Action for organizing this service. Thank you to Gina Sillitti and Sam for coming to speak to us. It's such an important topic. You opened my eyes a little bit, and I'm so glad to have had the opportunity to hear you speak. And hopefully we'll spread the word a little bit. I'll try to be brief in my announcements. I never am. I will try, especially now in September. So tomorrow morning, Torah study has been invited to join Temple Beth El beginning at 9:15. They are hosting an in-person and via Zoom a special guest, Dr. Rachel Korazin, a renowned Israeli scholar who will be discussing Israeli poetry for the post-October 7th world. You're welcome to register to attend in person or via Zoom. There will be a short service afterwards if you're in person, as well as a light bagel brunch as well. I assume you can see Rabbi Scheinberg for registration information and all things else. Regular events, choir rehearsal, cardio corps, more on the mark. They'll all be happening at their regular times this week. This coming Tuesday is 24th. Is the second of our 2 high holiday prep courses sessions, also at Temple Beth El. Last week it was in our building. Next Tuesday will be at Beth El. Rabbi Scheinberg and Rabbi Stola will be having a lively conversation with you. It begins at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Sunday, September 29th at 11:15. Please join us for Ask the Coat service as we start our high holiday observations by changing Ventura mantles to high holiday white. Note it's Sunday morning at 11:15 this year. Please support your temple and your fellow converts by wishing everyone a happy and sweet New Year by adding your name to our holiday Rosh Hashanah card before next Friday, the 27th. Information on that is in the weekly update. And just as a reminder, all our members in good standing should have received high holiday tickets this week. If you have not received your ticket or you would like to purchase additional tickets for family and friends, please reach out to Marie in the office. Service information is available on the tickets, it's on our website, and will be emailed, blasted in a separate email to everyone shortly. As always, please check the weekly update for additional information and appropriate virtual links and RSVP information for all of our events. Again, thank you for a lovely service. Thank you for a lovely service. Thank you to our guests. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, and thank you, Lisa, and President.
NCRT, Jenny DeBeer, we welcome you to the podium.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Dr. Tikvah, for hosting us this evening for this very interesting, illuminating event. Thank you both cantors and the keyboard player for the lovely music. I'm sorry that we were having problems with Zoom. The Zoom people didn't get to hear all the music. We had a Zoom setting issue, but they could hear all the speaking. So that part was really good. There's always something. NCRT's book club will meet on Monday, September 23rd on Zoom at 12:30. We are reading The Last Ships from Hamburg by Stephen Ujifuza. Rabbi Shergel's Lunch and Learn liturgy class is on hiatus until after the High Holy Days. The High Holy Days are fast approaching, however. You should have received, if you're a member of North Country Reform Temple, you should have received information regarding services that is also now posted on our website. Please join NCRT and Temple Judea for a special Slichot program commemorating October 7th via Zoom on Saturday, September 28th at 7:30 p.m. Never again, now more than ever. Please check your emails for the upcoming activities, movie night, date to be determined, a sound meditation at NCRT on this Sunday evening. Contact the office if you haven't already to let us know if you would like to attend an evening with Mandy Patinkin and a screening of The Princess Bride at the Tillis Center on Saturday, October 5th. Save the date, Monday, October 14th for our Sukkah building. That is Columbus Day / Indigenous Peoples Day, so we have, many people have that day off. All families are invited for building, decorating, and for light refreshments. We have a trip to the Lower East Side Tenement Museum and lunch on Sunday, October 7th. That is, in fact, the correct date. Please.
27.
What?
27, not 7.
It actually says 27th, it just didn't come all the way out right now. On Sunday, October 27th, please note that is the correct date, and contact the office if you are interested in attending. Thank you again, and Shabbat Shalom.
So if some people missed some of the music because of the Zoom link, please know that we are recording the whole service and it will be available on YouTube. So if people are happy to share that link if others want to watch it.
You share the link in this group chat about having people on there.
Excellent. All right. We are so organized. I love this teamwork. So we are going to conclude immediately following our closing song. We'll say a blessing over our bread, a motzi here, and then you are all welcome to join us. We'll go up the stairs to our Harris Bieber Auditorium and have a little nosh together and get a chance to chat, and so we hope you'll stick around. We are going to conclude with a song that you don't need to find lyrics for, I think. A song that's been part of social action movements for many generations, about the love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land.
I
share. Shabbat shalom and thank you all.
I figured that out.